Welcome to Amazon Academy. I am Vipul Mehta, and today we are going to study states of matter. Now, the medium of communication today would be English. So, all of you who are attending this lecture, make sure that if you have any question, you can speak that in English. And uh, I have come a bit early before the lecture because I usually come early to talk to you guys. Hi K, hi AD, hi BS, hi SA. Please write your names after you write the comment, so it would be easier for me to communicate with you guys. So we have done in micro course. We have already finished chemical bonding and molecular structures. States of matter primarily is effectively gaseous state. We are going to study some parts of liquid state and solid state also, but liquid state primarily is covered in physics, and solid state is a different chapter altogether. So that is not something which you guys need to worry about. Having said that, who all are attending the class for the first time? Do you think Feb attempt will be more competitive or the other way? PS, see, in the difficulty level, I would say it is always going to be difficult in terms of you attempting the paper for the first time. In terms of competition, you don't know which pool of people are sitting with you. So let's say if there are 10 lakh students, and let's say only 1 lakh students write the Feb paper, you don't know whether the 1 lakh students who are writing the paper are good students or bad students. So you cannot just determine this whether it is going to be competitive or not by the number of people who are appearing for the exam. You also need to check the quality. Okay. So PS, what is your name? What is your name, PS? All of you, whenever you write anything, write your name with it. Okay. Hi Abhinav. Hello. Hi. So PS, you are Abhinav. Okay. So before we start, couple of ground rules which we should be understanding. Number one, let's know who I am. I am Vipul Mehta, BTech IIT Bombay. If you have Physical Chemistry by Wiley publication, I am the author of that book. What are some live class best practices? You have to join the class on time. You have to watch the complete lecture. You have to attend all the classes. In case you miss any class, then you can go through the recording. You have to revise your previous class and come. You have to be polite with your peers. You have to be polite with your teachers. You should not spam. Don't use any kind of obscene language or uncivilized language. You have a My Doubts tab on which you can ask questions without disturbing the class. Fair enough? If you are watching this lecture on your laptops then or computers, then you can use Chrome or Firefox to watch this lecture. In case you are using your mobile phone, you can watch this lecture on an Android mobile phone. Hi Suraj. But you should have a version 6 or above. Okay. Just check that your internet speed is greater than equal to 5 Mbps. Okay. So that you will have a seamless experience. Okay. So what we are going to study today is states of matter, lecture number. So how can we classify matter? Then we will study about gaseous state and the measurable properties of gases: mass, volume, pressure, temperature, density. Then we will understand what are the different type of gas laws. Then what is payload? What is Dalton's law of, hi Archishman, hi. What is Dalton's law of partial pressure? What is Graham's law of effusion and diffusion, combined gas law, ideal gas equation, everything. Okay. So starting with classification of matter. Now this is something which we have been studying since childhood. Hi Akshay, hi. So can anyone tell me what is the fundamental difference between solid, liquid and gas? If I talk about the intermolecular force of attraction, so if I talk about intermolecular force of attraction, this will be 1.5 hour lecture. Today we will be communicating with each other in English because this lecture is in English. So can I say that the intermolecular force of attraction of solid will be highest, then liquid, then gas? If I talk about shape, or if I talk about volume first, I can say the volume is fixed. I can say the volume is fixed, and I can say the volume is volume of container. So it is not fixed. If I talk about shape, it will have a definite shape. It will have a indefinite shape. It will also have indefinite shape. Is that fine with you, all of you? If you talk about density, solids will have the highest density, then liquid, then gas. This is again very simple. Primarily, if I talk about how the particles, so basically this is the most important thing, intermolecular force of attraction. Yeah, arrangement is intermolecular force of attraction only. Definite arrangement, that's the reason you will have a definite shape. Right, AS? Right? In terms of mass depends on, whatever quantity you are taking. But basically mass is, for I can take 1 kg of gas and I can take 1 kg of solid. Shape of container is something I've written here. Okay. So now understand one thing. If we start with gaseous state, what are the properties of gases which you can measure? You can measure the mass. On a weighing machine, you can take a gas and you can measure what the mass will be. You can measure the volume, which will be equal to volume of container. You can measure the pressure through a barometer or a manometer. You can measure the temperature through a thermometer. You can measure the density if you have P, V and T. That is something which we can do. Okay. My question to you is, if I say that we want to calculate the mass of a gas, if I say that I want to calculate the mass of a gas, so mass is very simple. You can simply take a weighing machine and calculate mass, or you can calculate moles. My volume is fine, AK. No, you should not attend then. If you are in class 12th or droppers batch RS, you should not attend the class. If you are in 11th class, you should. Okay. If I talk about moles I can say is weight in grams upon atomic weight. So at times I can find the mass by using moles. Okay. So this is something, if I say N is equal to mass upon atomic mass or atomic weight, then in that case basically you can find the mass. For example, if it is given to you that you have 2 moles of helium, so you will use 2 is equal to mass of helium upon 4, right? Hi SR. hello SN. So this is something which you can find. Volume. How do you define the volume? So I am talking about an ideal gas as of now. So volume is basically defined as the space available for the gas particles to move. The space available for the gas particles to move. So how, AK, you know that it is equal to volume of vessel. My question is why? Okay, I understand it is equal to volume of vessel, but why? The reason is very simple reason. Try and understand this. Let's say this is volume of vessel or volume of container. Let's say this value is V. Okay. Now this is a molecule. This is the molecule. And let's say the volume of molecule is V molecule. Okay. If I ask you to use the volume of molecule as V molecule, for an ideal gas, the assumption is volume of molecule is much less than volume of container or volume of gas. So I can say volume of each molecule is negligible with respect to, yes SH, with respect to total volume of gas. So if I say that this volume is negligible, can you tell me this volume, let's say total volume of the container is, let's say 10,000 liter, and this is 10 to the power of minus 6 liters. So can I say that the space available for this molecule will be complete volume of container? Yes or no? And that is what you define as this volume. So if I ask you what is the volume of gas, I can say each particle will have a space of V, which is volume of container. So basically that is the reason it becomes volume of container. Getting my point? But this is true only if you have an ideal gas. For a real gas, this will not be true. Okay? So if I say volume of a gas, it is equal to volume of container if and only if it is an ideal gas, because only if it is an ideal gas you can make this assumption. Okay? So tomorrow or in the next lecture when we are going to study about real gases, I will explain you the difference also. Okay? Pressure. So a simple question to you is, all the particles of the gas are moving in zigzag direction, right? They are undergoing Brownian motion. Okay. My question to you is, let's say there is a particle which is having a mass m and moving with speed v, which is colliding here. Now all the collisions are elastic. So can I say that the velocity will be in the opposite direction because the collisions are elastic? So during the collision, can I say that there is change in momentum of the particle? Yes or no? Change in momentum is equal to dp. Yes or no? So what is that momentum change? dp is equal to m into v minus m into minus v, because the velocity direction has changed. So can I say it is 2 mv? Now let's say that this happens in a small time interval of dt, where, so basically I can say what will be force? Force will be dp by dt. Real gas I will tell you in the next lecture, SK. Please have some patience, okay? So can I say this will be 2 mv by dt? So can I say that because of the collisions of these particles with the wall of the containers, there is a force exerted? Yes or no? So basically each particle is colliding with this wall. It's going back. Yes or no? So if the collision happens, I can say there is a force which is being exerted. So can I say, if I say that this area of cross section is A, can I say that pressure is equal to force upon area? So can I say it is 2 mv upon A dt? So can I say pressure is due to collisions of gas particles with walls of container? Yes or no? Simple. Okay. My question to you is, how will you measure pressure? So there are ways to measure pressure. For example, if I take a manometer, okay, so I can take a open end manometer and I can take a closed end manometer. Okay, so for example, let's say there is a gas here. There is a gas here. I connect one end of the manometer with this gas, and here I connect the other end. Now in this tube there is mercury. So this is mercury. So this is mercury. Okay. Can you tell me what will be the pressure if the liquid is of density rho? What is the pressure exerted? Pressure exerted by liquid with liquid column with density rho, right, and height h. It is rho gh. Okay. So now tell me one thing. This is open end. I am writing note 1. Open end of tube will have pressure is equal to P atm or atmospheric pressure. What is atmospheric pressure? 1 atm. Can you tell me what will be the unit of pressure? If I talk to you about 1 atm, can you tell me what is 1 atm? 1 atm is approximately 10 to the power of 5 Newton per meter square, approximately. Or I can say 1 atm approximately is 1 bar. Or I can say 1 atm is 760 mm of mercury. Or I can say it is 76 centimeter of mercury. Or I can say it is 760 torr. So all these are units. So my question to you is 1 atm is the atmospheric pressure. Okay. So whatever is the open end, you will have the pressure of that is equal to 1 atm. Okay. Note 2. In a given liquid, pressure at all points at a same height is equal, is same. Very good, KU, very good. So now my task is to find the pressure. Okay, it is given to me that this height is h1 and it is given to me that this height is h2. It is given to me. Now can you tell me what will be the pressure exerted here? It will be P gas. And what will be the pressure exerted here? Because it is open end, what is the pressure exerted here? Jaldi se tell me quickly. What is the pressure exerted at the open end? P atm, yes or no? So since I have been given mercury, can I use the height of mercury as the unit? So if I use the height of mercury, let's take this point P1 and let's take this point at the same height as P2. Can I say pressure at P1 is equal to pressure at P2? Yes or no? Pressure at P1 is equal to pressure at P2? Okay, what is pressure at P1? If I am taking centimeter of mercury, I can say it is P gas in centimeter of mercury plus H1. Or I can say, if I am not taking centimeter of mercury, I can say P gas into H1 rho g. P gas plus H1 into rho g is equal to, I can write this as H1 into rho into g. This will be pressure at P1. What will be pressure at P2? It will be P atm plus H2 into rho into g. Yes or no? So if I say what is P gas, I can say it is P atm plus rho g into H2 minus H1, or the height difference. So can I say, if I am taking in terms of centimeter of mercury, so in terms of centimeter of mercury, can I say it is nothing but P atm plus the height difference H2 minus H1, because it is centimeter of mercury only. So this way you can find the pressure in a manometer which is open end of a gas. Simple enough. Now if I take a closed end thing, it's again going to be the same thing. The only thing is now it is closed from one side. So let's say this is the gas. I connect it to a manometer which is closed. Let's say this is closed. Now here it is vacuum. Okay. Now this is again filled with mercury. This height is H2. This height is H1. And this is filled with mercury. Can you tell me what will be the pressure at this point P1? This is P gas. So can I say pressure at point P1 should be equal to pressure at point P2 again? So can I say vacuum means pressure is equal to 0? So can I say P gas plus rho g H1, very good KU, is equal to 0 plus rho g into H2? So can I say P gas is equal to rho into G into H2 minus H1. So that's exactly equal to height difference. No, it will not be PATM because it is vacuum now, GR. So in this case, you will not have atmospheric pressure because this is a closed end. It is not exposed to atmosphere. Or I can say it is H2 minus H1 if it is in terms of centimeter of mercury. Simple enough. So you can find the pressure. Simple. Fine. Now I have a question. All of us have traveled in flight someday or the other. So let's say I am standing on ground. I am standing on ground. The atmospheric pressure on me is P naught. It is atmospheric pressure acting on me. Okay. But my friend who is in a flight, he is in a flight. The atmospheric pressure on him is, let's say, P. Okay. What happens is when we are in a flight, the ear basically pops out because we see or we observe or we experience a difference or a drop in pressure. My question to you is, how will the atmospheric pressure change with a height h, where h is a significantly big number? So how will the height determine what will be the final pressure? This is my question to you. So what we can do is, we know that the density of air is rho. Let's say at a distance x, the pressure is P1. So as I will go up, let's say I go a very small distance dx. So this will be x plus dx. So can I say that the pressure will be dropping now? P1 minus dp, yes or no? Atmospheric pressure will decrease, yes. I want to know how it will decrease. Is it going to decrease linearly? It is going to decrease exponentially, right, AM? That is my answer, which I need to find. So can you tell me, if I take the small liquid column like this, a very small liquid column of height dx, this height is dx, will I see a change in pressure minus dp? Minus dp because the pressure is dropping, and that will be equal to rho into g into dx, yes or no? Now one thing which we will study later is, I think linearly, we will see. One thing which we will study later is PV is equal to nRT. This is very common. So can I write P is equal to molecular weight, mass upon volume into RT? I will just write it about weight upon volume into RT by molecular weight. What is weight upon volume? Density. So can I say density is equal to PM by RT? Yes or no? So basically, can I write this as minus dP is equal to density, which is PM by RT into G into dx? So can I say it as dP by P is equal to minus mg by RT dx? Let's integrate this. At height x is equal to 0, the atmospheric pressure is P naught. At height x is equal to h, the atmospheric pressure is P. So can I say this becomes ln P from P naught to P is equal to minus mg x by RT from 0 to h? So can I say ln P by P naught is equal to minus mg h by RT? So can I say P is equal to P naught e to the power of minus mg h by RT? So basically, the pressure is decreasing exponentially. Yes, KU. So if I draw this curve of pressure versus height, and the height is significantly high, then at height is equal to 0, it is P naught, and it is going to decrease exponentially. So exponentially decreasing. So that is the reason if we go in a flight, we see that the pressure drops exponentially. Or if we go for scuba diving, we are going down. Pressure is going to increase exponentially. So that is the reason when you are wearing that oxygen mask, and if you have done scuba diving, as you will go down, you have to do something like this to release an air bubble which is going to release the pressure, because as you will go down, the pressure suddenly increases a lot. Okay, so suppose if someone asks you a question that how will the atmospheric pressure change with height, in that case you simply have to use the barometric distribution law. Okay, how to use the formula in this question, we will see a problem, don't worry. Okay, okay. A question is, a barometer filled with mercury shows a reading of 150 mm of mercury for pressure. If the barometer is filled with a liquid of density 1.8 gram per ml, what would be the length of column? Suppose this is the question given to you. Would you like to solve this? Would you like to solve this question for me? Tell me what will be the answer. Fast. AK, KU, DS, GR, AM. Tell me what will be the answer for this question. So, quickly, fast. A. Okay, SR is giving me the answer as A. What is your name? SR. So after your option, write your name. So for example, A, SR, whatever your name is, write A and your name. Okay. C. A. Simon. Simon is giving me the answer as A. Okay. Anyone else? So basically I'm just changing the liquid. The pressure will still remain the same. And the reading is nothing but the height. So can I say rho 1 into G into H1 is equal to rho 2 into G into H2? This G will get cancelled out. Rajat is also telling me the answer is A. Let's see. What is rho 1? The density of mercury, which is 13.53 into 150 mm, is equal to, what is rho 2? 1.80, and what will be the height is what you need to find. So can you tell me what will be the answer now? Nearly A. Let's check. It is 13.53 into 150 divided by 1.80. So it is 1127.5 mm. So it is 1127.5 mm. So it is C or it is mm. Snehanjali, it is mm. This is mm. The C option is centimeter. So in centimeter, how much is 1 centimeter in mm? 1 mm is 10 centimeter, or 1 centimeter is 10 mm. So this is your answer approximately. Yes or no? Simple. Okay, can you solve this question for me? Atmospheric pressure at ground is given to you as P naught. At height h, what is going to be the atmospheric pressure? This should be divided. Tell me the answer quickly now. We just did it. D. Kunal D. Archesman D. Anyone else? AS is D. Didn't note formula, but you know it is exponentially decaying, right? So answer can be C or D. So the answer is P is equal to P naught e to the power of minus mgh by RT, which is nothing but barometric distribution law. So answer is D for Delhi. Right VH, right SR. Simple enough. Shall we proceed? Temperature. Now temperature, what is temperature? Temperature is degree of hotness or coldness of an object. So if I touch something, I feel hot or I feel cold is actually what that this feeling is temperature. Now for any gas, I'm writing note, we cannot achieve 0 Kelvin. Why? Because at 0 Kelvin, all the motions will cease. So basically you will not have a solid, you will not have a liquid, you will not have a gas, because at 0 Kelvin, according to third law of thermodynamics, all the motions will cease because the entropy will be 0 absolutely. So in this case you will have a new state, which is super condensed solid. So we cannot go to 0 Kelvin ever. Secondly, temperature in degree Celsius, if it is given to you, you ideally add 273.15 to give you temperature in degree Kelvin, or I can say temperature in Kelvin. This is temperature in degree Celsius. And this is temperature in Kelvin. I cannot say 0 volume, because basically if you are applying PV equal to nRT, Sg, that is assuming that it is going to behave like a gas. At 0 Kelvin, you will not even have gaseous or solid or liquid state. You will have a new state, which is the super condensed solid. Okay, so you cannot apply PV equal to nRT to get the volume as 0. Okay, simple. So typically we use 273 only. So if for example, if I give you that you have 15 degrees Celsius, you will say it is 298 Kelvin. Okay, my question to you is, in all the formulas, I'm writing note, in all formulae, always substitute temperature in Kelvin. Always. Sorry, this is 25. Sorry, this is 25. Now it is fine. So always substitute everything in Kelvin. Never you should use degree Celsius. Okay. Now if I give you a question that the temperature is given to you in degree Celsius, the first step should be coming to your mind that I have to convert it into Kelvin. Okay. Density, as I have told you, is Pm by RT, which we just derived a couple of minutes back. So basically Pm by RT, this is how we derive density. Okay, this is very simple. Now comes the gas laws. Ideally you should not remember any of laws, you should only remember the ideal gas equation and you are sorted. Okay, so my question is, why Kelvin? Because see, degree Celsius will also give you negative temperatures, which are not possible in the equations. You will have negative volumes then. That is the reason Kelvin temperature is either, see, the Kelvin temperature is always positive. But if I give you minus 5 degrees Celsius and if you put your answer as minus 5, the volume will be negative, which is not possible. Or the pressure will be negative, which is not possible. Okay. So the first thing, Boyle's law. What does Boyle's law state? Boyle's law states that at constant temperature for a given mass, pressure of the gas is proportional to 1 by volume, or it is inversely proportional to volume. Okay, so can I say mathematically PV is equal to constant? Hi Kalash. So can I say that this is constant if mass is constant, so mole is constant and temperature is constant? This is something which I need to know. Or can I write that P1 V1 is equal to P2 V2. PV equal to nRT is enough. That's enough. AK. You don't need to remember everything. So tell me one thing. Suppose I ask you a simple question. Just a second. Hi Rahul. If I say that a gas with initial pressure is equal to 1 atm, initial volume is equal to 2 liters, at constant temperature expands to 4 liter. Find final pressure. What will be your answer? What will be the answer? So I can say the temperature is constant. So if the temperature is constant, I can use P1 V1 is equal to P2 V2. So I can say 1 into 2 is equal to 4 into P2. So I can say P2 is equal to 1 by 2. Right? Kunal? It will not be 1, it will be 1 by 2. Okay? 0.5 atm? Yes, Palash, you are right. Simple enough. If I ask you to plot the graph, so now understand plotting the graph is very easy. I take PV is equal to constant. Okay. Suppose I ask you to plot a graph of P versus V, or I ask you to the plot of graph of P 1 by V, or if I ask you the graph of PV versus P, or if I ask you the graph of PV versus V, or if I ask you the graph of log P versus log V. Okay. So how do you solve all these questions? First of all, always make a habit, write this as y, write this as x. So now the equation in front of you is xy is equal to constant. Now xy is equal to constant, so x is equal to k by y. If y is equal to 0, x is infinite. If x is equal to 0, y is infinite. So this is rectangular hyperbola. Yes or no? In this case, I say x is p and y is, sorry, in this case y is p and x is 1 by v. So I write this equation p is equal to k into 1 by v. So my equation becomes p is y is equal to kx. So basically this is a straight line passing through the origin. Yes or no? If I write this as y, my equation becomes y is equal to constant. If y is constant, this is going to be like this. If I write this as y axis, my equation is y is equal to constant. Again something like this. Now I have to find the graph between log p and log v. So write this as y axis, write this as x axis. The equation given to me is pv is equal to constant. I take log on both sides. So this will be log p plus log v is equal to log of k. Now log p is y, so I write y. Log v is x, so I write x is equal to constant, let's say c. All these are positive, so if y is 0, x is positive. If x is 0, y is positive. Simple enough. So all these graphs you don't need to remember, just see whatever is the y-axis, and this is the given equation. Using this given equation you can find everything. Getting my point? Simple enough. Can you solve this question for me now? There is a gas which is trapped. Okay. The length of this column is L1. There is mercury here and this pressure is P0, which is 76 centimeter of mercury. Now I am making sure that this tube is now slightly tilted and this is at an angle of 30 degree. I have to calculate what is the length L2, and this open end is again at a pressure P0 because it is exposed. Last one is declining line. Why? SG. This is positive, okay? So if x is 0, y is positive. Yes or no? If y is 0, x is positive, yes or no? Right, SG? You have 2 points, you know it is a straight line, just add those. JD, PV is equal to constant is the equation. In this case, your y is PV. So can I write y is equal to constant as the equation? Can you plot the graph now? Y is equal to constant. Simple enough. Can you solve this question for me now? Now suppose it is given to you that you have a mercury, you have a tube in which there is a gas trapped. Okay. Can you tell me what is the answer in this? Everyone? You don't have to solve. I have put all the options as. Can you solve this question for me? So first of all, just observe the gas. So gas is here and gas is here. So the temperature is constant. Okay, I am writing temperature is constant. So for the gas trapped, the moles are also constant because you're not adding anything or you're not subtracting anything. So for the gas, can I say P1 V1 is equal to P2 V2? Yes or no? Can I say this? Where P1 and V1, P1 V1 are the pressure and volume of gas in first case, and P2 V2 will be the pressure and volume of gas B. Okay? In the second case. Okay? So now tell me one thing. Can I write this as P1? Volume will be L1 into area of cross section. And can I write this as P2? Volume will be L2 into area of cross section. This A will get cancelled out. So I have P1 L1 is equal to P2 L2. Fair enough? Yes, Akshay, your answer is B. Let's see. Tell me what is the pressure P1 here? Now because they are at the same height, can I say that this pressure P1 is equal to P0? Because if you see the mercury column, it is not moving. So both the forces should be equal. So pressure P1 from the gas should be equal to P0. Only then mercury will not move. So can I say P1 is equal to P0 is equal to 76 centimeter into L1. Can you tell me what will be P2? So now P2, if I have to calculate, this mercury will only have one component. Mercury will have one component, will be 8 cos theta. And along the tube will be 8 sin theta. The atmospheric pressure will be P0 only because it is exposed directly. So atmospheric pressure will always be P0. So can I say, if I take the pressure here as P2, can I say P2 is equal to 76 plus 8 sin theta? Or can I say it is nothing but 80? Yes or no? This is something which you have also done in physics. So if there is a block which is kept on an incline at an angle theta, the component along the plane is mg sin theta. Perpendicular to the plane is mg cos theta. So the pressure will be only exerted by along the plane. That is mg sin theta, or mercury component will be 8 sin theta. Yes or no? So can I say this into L2? So can I say L2 is 76 by 80 into L1? So in this case, your answer will be B for Bombay. Simple enough. Moving ahead. What is Charles' law? Now all these laws are exactly same. You know that volume is proportional to temperature if pressure and moles are constant. So can I say V1 by T1 is equal to V2 by T2 at pressure and moles being constant? So if I ask you to plot V versus T in Kelvin, or if I ask you to plot V versus T in degree Celsius, or if I ask you to plot V versus 1 by T in Kelvin, or if I ask you to plot log V versus log T, or if I ask you to plot V by T versus V, or if I ask you to plot V by T versus T in Kelvin. In all these cases, you have to draw the graph using the same technique. So this is your homework, which I will discuss in the next class. Okay. So make sure that you have to use the fundamental equation, which is V upon T in Kelvin is equal to constant. Okay. Can you solve this question for me? X is equal to dV by dt into 1 by V, where dV is the increase in volume for dt increase in temperature. Then x is equal to t, x is equal to t square, xt is equal to 1. How will you solve this? Anyone? C. Okay, let's check. So I can say if this is the case, right, can I say that if I take x is equal to t, okay, how will I go about this question? Can anyone tell me? V by t is equal to constant. So I can say V is equal to kt. So if I use dV by dt, in this case it should be equal to constant, but it is not coming out to be constant. So can you tell me what will be the answer now? So basically this definitely is not the equation. So how will we go about it then? So if I use x into dx is equal to dV by dt, can I say if I multiply this, will the value be equal to 1? Yes, क्योंकि dV by dt की वैल्यू क्या है? See, dV by dt की वैल्यू क्या है? If I take the C option, can I say dx into t plus x into dt is equal to 0? Now if I put the value of dx, or I can simply put x as 1 by t. So can I say 1 by t is equal to dV upon v dt? So if I do it, can I say v by t is equal to dV by dt? So v by t is nothing but k, and dV by dt is nothing but k. So this is right. So the answer is C for Calcutta. So at times they might ask you questions which seemingly look very difficult but are very easy to solve. Okay. If I ask you about Gay-Lussac's law, very simple again, I can say that pressure is proportional to temperature in Kelvin, provided moles and volume are constant. So it is exactly like Charles' law, P1 by T1 is equal to P2 by T2, assuming moles and volume are constant. So now the graphical representation, if I ask you to plot, let's say P versus T in Kelvin, or if I ask you to plot P versus T in degree Celsius, or if I ask you to plot P versus 1 by T, or if I ask you to plot, sorry, not P versus 1 by T, I can say P by T versus T. You can still plot. This is going to be your homework. Simple. Avogadro's law, volume proportional to moles if pressure and temperature are constant. Combined gas law, PV by T is equal to constant if moles are constant. This is not of very much importance. You can simply write P1 V1 by T1 is equal to P2 V2 by T2. But the most important thing which you should remember, if I combine all these equations, I can say PV by N into T is equal to constant, and this constant comes out to be R. For every gas, this value is fixed. This R is known as universal gas constant. The value of R is 0.0821 liter atmosphere per mole per Kelvin. or you can say 2 calories per mole per Kelvin, or you can say 8.314 joules per mole per Kelvin. So the ideal gas equation is the only equation which you need to remember. PV is equal to nRT. You will be able to solve all the problems if you know this equation. So you don't need to remember the equations which were prior to this. Okay, you can simply acquire P equal to nRT and you will get your answer always. This is your homework, a very simple question. I want to know your answer on this. It will take some calculation. The thing is, it is a very simple looking question, but it is not simple. Okay. So you solve this question. This is again your homework. So the faulty barometer question, this is question number 6. So it shows 770 and this is 810. This shows 850. Sorry, 810. This is fine. Okay, so you have to understand what is a barometer and then you have to solve this problem. Okay. This was a JEE question, somewhat similar. You can download it SR. This is again your homework. Again, you have to apply PV equal to nRT. You will get your answer then. Okay. Sometimes they will ask you what is payload. So payload is the extra weight which a balloon can carry other than weight of gas and its own weight. You can see past lectures SR and you can download the whole PPT from there. Okay. So here is a question. If there is a hot air balloon, this is a hot air balloon. Okay. Now this hot air balloon has gas which is filled here and it has air which is outside. Okay. Now let's say the mass of balloon is there. Let's say the mass of balloon is m. Okay. Can you tell me if the density of air is rho air? Can you tell me? And this volume of balloon is V. This is volume of balloon. Okay. Can you tell me what will be the forces acting on this balloon? A, mass of balloon into G, acting downwards. B, the mass of gas into G. And there is going to be a buoyancy force. Buoyancy force is basically if anything is dissolved in a liquid, basically it is given by the liquid's density in which it is dissolved, rho air, into volume into G. Now payload is the extra weight it will carry. So for example, if I am traveling on this and let's say it can carry me, my weight will also act downwards. So this is payload, which is the extra weight I can carry as a balloon. So if I balance these forces, can I say payload is equal to rho air into volume into G minus what is mass of gas? Density of gas into volume into G minus mass of balloon into G. So can I say payload is nothing but rho air minus rho gas into V, where V is the volume, into G minus mg, where m is the mass of the balloon. So if the balloon is massless, the mg wali term will become 0. That is the reason, because of the difference in density, we can go up. So basically, if someone asks you a question that why do we go up, it is because of the difference in density of the gas and the density of air. So for example, if I ask you this question, can you tell me the answer to this question now? The primary reason of a balloon, B is the buoyancy force. You will study this in fluid mechanics and physics AK. If there is any ball of volume V which is dipped in a liquid, let's say density of liquid is rho, it will experience a force upwards which is equal to rho of the liquid in which it is dissolved into volume of that ball into g. So similarly, if I take this whole fluid like air and the density of that fluid is equal to rho, it will experience an upward force as rho into v into g. SG, AS, SN, all of you are telling me that the answer is A. Yes, the answer is A. The difference in density of air and gas. Of course. Now it is of course because, yes, I have explained it to you. Clear? It is weight displaced. Yes, yes, AK. Fine. Eureka, moment, Archimedes. I think you might be remembering this now. What is Dalton's law of partial pressure? So let's say if I have a container which has three gases, A, B and C. The volume of the container is V. This has the moles of A is Na, the moles of B is Nb and the moles of C is Nc. I say Pa is pressure due to A, or it is known as partial pressure of A. Okay, I say P total is total pressure of mixture. Okay, so what I can say is if I apply PV equal to nRT for A, can I say PA into volume V is equal to Na into R into T? Similarly, if I apply PV equal to nRT for the total mixture, can I say P total into V is equal to N total, which is Na plus Nv plus Nc into R into T? And if I say this is equation 1 and this is equation 2, and if I divide both of them, can I say PA upon P total is equal to Na upon Na plus Nb plus Nc? Or can I say it is nothing but mole fraction of A? So can I say Pa is equal to mole fraction of A into P total? Similarly, can I say Pb is equal to mole fraction of B into P total? Or can I say Pc is equal to mole fraction of C into P total? So if I add, let's say this is equation 3, this is 4 and this is 5. If I add 3 plus 4 plus 5, what will I get? I will get Pa plus Pb plus Pc is equal to Xa plus Xb plus Xc into P total. Now this value is 1. So can I say that Pa plus Pb plus Pc is equal to P total? Now this is what Dalton's law of partial pressure is. What is Dalton's law of partial pressure? That if you have a mixture of gases, then the total pressure of a gas is equal to sum total of the pressure of all the individual components, which you are calling as partial pressures. Okay, simple enough. So if I give you a question, like this, a sample of air is given to you. Okay, now a sample of air contains gas A, B and water vapor. It is saturated with water vapor at pressure 700. Okay, and the vapor pressure of water is this. So vapor pressure of water is nothing but partial pressure of water vapor. So if I ask you that Pa plus Pb plus P water vapor, this will be 700. Yes or no? Now the pressure of water is given to you as 50. So can I say Pa plus Pb is equal to 650? Let's say this is equation 1. Now this is P total. So if I ask you partial pressure of A, it is mole fraction of A into P total. What is mole fraction of A? 1 upon 1 plus 4, because the ratio is 1:4, into 650. So this will be 1 by 5 into 650. So this will be 130 mm of mercury. Simple. So they can ask you questions of this type. So I think you will be able to solve them easily. The next question is, what is effusion and what is diffusion? Effusion is, what is effusion? When a gas flows out through a pinhole due to pressure difference. Okay, just to give an example, let's say there is a container and there is a gas filled in this container, and I make a very small hole, so the gas will go out. So this process of exiting of gas is known as effusion. What is diffusion? Mixing of gases through a pinhole when there exists a pressure difference. So for example, I am standing in one room and I have rose perfume. My friend is standing in the other room and he has jasmine perfume. Now let's say they are connected to each other and I make a very small hole here and a very small hole here. So this is gas 1 and this is gas 2. So after some time you will have gas 1 in both the rooms and you will also have gas 2 in both the rooms. Or after some time I will see, or I will smell rose perfume in both the rooms and I will also smell jasmine perfume in both the rooms. So the process of mixing of gases through a small pinhole is known as diffusion. My question to you is, if let's say this volume is V1, if this volume is V2, can you tell me why these two cases are exactly same? Can you tell me why these two cases are exactly same and how? This case is when V2 tend towards infinity. If this volume is tending towards infinity, you will get this case, yes or no? Yes or no? If the volume of the second container is infinite, you will get effusion wala case. So basically I can say effusion is a special case of diffusion when volume is equal to infinity. So what we are concerned about is, we know that the gas is flowing out. Now if the gas is flowing out, we know that the moles are going out. Now if the moles are going out, pressure is constant, temperature is constant. So can I say the pressure will be dropping? So in terms of time, I know that if I have to find the rate of effusion or rate of diffusion, R is the rate of effusion or diffusion, I can say that this is proportional to partial pressure of the gas which is present upon under root of molecular weight. Now let's understand, if the gas is under a partial pressure P, let's say in first case it is 1 atm, in second case it is 2 atm. So obviously 2 atm will be leaving this container at a higher speed because it is under more pressure. Similarly, if there is a lighter gas and if there is a heavier gas, the lighter gas will be exiting this pinhole at a higher speed because lighter particles will travel faster. So this rate of effusion or diffusion is proportional to P upon root of M. We will do a question on this, JD. Okay, just a second. Can I say that effusion is nothing but, this rate is nothing but the rate at which moles are flowing out minus dN by dt? Why minus? Because the moles are flowing out. So because they are going out, the moles are going to decrease. Now can I say this is nothing but proportional to minus dP by dt, since volume is constant and temperature is constant? So basically there will be a drop in pressure inside the container. So at times if I ask you what is R1 by R2 in terms of time, and let's say I am giving you it is nothing but distance traveled. So basically I can say it is proportional to T2 by T1. Or I can say simply, the faster is the rate, the lower will be the time taken. Yes or no? The higher is the speed, the lower will be the time taken. Rate is nothing but the speed at which the gas is going out. Yes or no? In terms of distance traveled, let's say there are two things, R1 by R2. Let's say the distance traveled in the first case by the gas is D1, and the time elapsed is delta t. Distance traveled by the second case is d2 in the same time elapsed. So can I say it is nothing but d1 by d2 if the time elapsed is same? Yes or no? So we will do some questions on the basis of this as well. In terms of pressure, now my question to you is, I know that the gas is exiting out. Let's say the initial pressure, the T at T equal to 0, pressure inside the container is P naught. Okay, the mass of the gas is given to you as m, the molar mass. My question is, what is pressure inside container at time t equal to t? Let this pressure be P. What will be this value of pressure? So let's solve this. So I can say that rate, I'm use a different marker. I will say rate is equal to, सवाल होंगे ना 70. You are coming late to the class. There are a lot of questions which are already being done. Okay. So R is equal to minus dn by dt, which is proportional to minus dp by dt. So can I say R is equal to a constant k into minus dp by dt? Yes or no? Or I can simply say, can I say rate is nothing but P upon root m? So this is proportional to P upon root m. So can I say minus dp by dt is equal to a constant k into P by root m? So if I use this, I can say minus dp by P is equal to k dt upon root m. Now I integrate on both sides. At t equal to 0, the pressure is P naught. At t equal to t, the pressure is P. So if I integrate this, I can say minus ln P is equal to kt by root m from t equal to 0 to t, from P naught to P. So I will get ln of P upon P naught as minus kt by root m, or I will get P is equal to P naught e to the power of minus kt by root m. So I can say that the pressure inside the container, if the pressure inside the container is P and the temperature and the time is T, at t equal to 0, if the pressure is P naught, it is going to decrease exponentially. Simple enough. So during effusion or diffusion, the gases are going to flow out very, very quickly. Fair enough? Can you solve this question for me now? Everyone. First. Can you solve this question for me? Is it important? Very important. Overwhelming R. Summarize this R, sir, please. Which R? R. R is the rate. Okay, I will explain R. R is rate at which gases are flowing out during effusion or diffusion. Okay. Okay. AK, can you solve this question for me now? H2 and O2. So this is H2. This is O2. They are introduced under similar conditions. Similar conditions means temperature is same. And there is a pinhole here and there is a pinhole here. Okay, these are pinholes. H2 is introduced at 1 atm. O2 is introduced at 2 atm. Okay. C option is pi. You have to tell me RQ, RP, RP. I think this should be RQ. What will be the value of RQ? Solve. RQ. What is the distance RQ is my question. When they will meet for the first time. So basically, this is when H2 and O2 meet. ठीक है? For the first time. Not C definitely. Then what will be the answer? B. Okay. B according to Suraj. Okay, Suraj, let's see. Palash answer is B. Okay. Simon answer is B. Okay. Pi by 3, Rajat. Okay. Let's see. This distance, let it be x. X centimeter. What is the total distance? Pi. So if I ask you what is the distance PR, circumference, this will be pi into 1, that is pi. So can I say this is pi minus x? Yes or no? So if I ask you to find what is rate of H2 upon rate of O2, you will say it is pressure of H2 upon pressure of O2 into under root of m of O2 upon m of H2. Yes or no? Pressure of H2 is given to you as 1, pressure of O2 is 2, this is under root of 32 and this is 2. So this is clear. Can you tell me what is distance traveled? Distance traveled in this case by H2 is pi minus x. The time is same and this is x. So can I say pi minus x upon x is equal to 1 by 2. This is root 16, yani ki this is 4. So can I say 2 pi minus 2x is equal to 2x? No, sorry, pi minus x. My bad. Now it is fine. So can I say x is equal to pi by 3? So if x equal to pi by 3, RQ is nothing but x. So B is the right answer. I'm very glad a lot of you are able to do it. AK, finally Rajat, you are able to solve it. Yes. Can you do one more question for me now? Try solving this. A gas diffuses from a circular orifice of radius r in one container and from a square orifice with side r in another container under similar conditions. The same gas is there. What is the ratio of diffusion in the first container is to second container? Can you solve this question for me? What will be the answer? So basically effusion is happening in one case through a circular orifice. Answer is D. Okay, fine. Rajat, your answer is D. Palash, Simone? Palash, your answer is D. Okay. Simone, again your answer is D. Okay. Anyone else? Akshay, answer is C. Okay, Akshay. SR, your answer is D. D fix. Fix. Akshay, answer changed to B. Okay, Akshay. Fine. Let's understand one thing. If I talk about effusion, this rate of effusion is proportional to area of orifice. Now this is not given anywhere because typically the area is same always. But suppose if they give you this question, this can be a very good question. So if I ask you the rate in the first question upon the rate in the second case, it will be nothing but A1 by A2. A1 being pi into r square, and A2, if I talk about the area of a square whose side is r, it will be r square. This will get cancelled out, so this will be pi upon 1. So if this is pi upon 1, the answer will be B. Snehanjali has written the right answer. Simple. Should I give you a tough question now? Would you like to solve it for me? So before that tough question, just have a look at this expression once. Okay? Before the tough question, just understand the derivation once. Rate is equal to minus dn by dt. That is equal to minus dp by dt. That is equal to p proportional to p by root m. And I use the same formula. Okay? Thank you, Palash. Now my question to you is, just spend 1 minute looking at this slide. You can take some notes if you want to, because using this you will use the same derivation concepts or techniques to solve the next question. Everyone, give thumbs up if you have gone through this whole experiment or the whole derivation once. Noted it. Okay. AK 1 minute. Okay, I'm giving you 1 minute. All of you, just understand this derivation once. So basically, Akshay thumbs up. अक्षय ने थम्स अप दे दिया. ओके, गुड गुड अक्षय, थैंक यू. SG, SN, JD has given me a thumbs up. Palash has given me a thumbs up. SR, thumbs up or thumbs down? Thumbs up. Okay, thumbs up. Fair enough. Should we proceed? Okay, Rajat. Okay, Snehanjali. Solve this question now. So basically there are some assumptions which I have changed, and I have made a question out of it. Can you solve this question for me now? You have 3 minutes to solve this question, and your time starts now. I have not given you a very difficult question. It is a very simple question. But if you have derived it, understand the same concept has to be applied here. Try solving it. Here k is constant. Okay, in all these cases k is constant. Okay. Okay, try solving it now. B. Okay. I don't know. B can be the answer. My mind is blown. Hint. After 3 minutes, I will give you the hint. Before that, you have to apply your brains. JD, Palash, एक hint दे दूं? Fine, Palash, the drop in pressure of a gas is nothing but minus dP by dt per unit time. This is proportional to the difference in pressure of gas. Let's say the pressure of gas is P minus P external. Yes or no? So can I say that using this minus dP by dt is equal to K P minus P external? Yes or no? Now you have to solve. Solve. D. AK, your answer. Rajat, your answer is D. Rajat has given the answer as D for Delhi. Okay. Okay, I will wait for you. Last 1 minute. Akshay, the answer is B. Okay. It is not required in this case. Because the direct expression is given to you as G. See, understand one thing. I gave you that whole derivation to understand the thought process of integration. Doesn't mean that it is going to be the same question. So you have to understand what is given in the question. In this question, it is given that the drop in pressure is proportional to the pressure of gas minus P external. So that is what I have written. SR, the answer is A. Let's see. So if I integrate this, can I say dP upon P minus P external is equal to minus K dt from t equal to 0 to t equal to t, from P equal to P naught or P equal to P1 to P equal to P2. So this will become ln P minus P external from P2 to P1, and this will become minus KT. So this will become P2 minus P external. I'll just write it here. This will become P2 minus P external is equal to P1 minus P external into e to the power of minus KT. Yes. So can I say P2 is equal to P1 minus P external e to the power of minus KT plus P external? Yes or no? So this answer is D for Delhi. Simple enough. Is it too difficult to solve? No. So at times I can give you questions like these. Doesn't mean that I don't want you to do those questions, but I want you to be on your toes always. Okay. Can you solve one more question for me? Let's solve this question. Let's solve this question. Can you solve this question for me? Quickly. You have 2 minutes to solve this question. Your time starts now. I understand, Rajat. No worries. Now got the funda. That was the whole idea. Can you solve this question for me now? I'll just remove this as homework and tell me what your answer is. Diffuse out. Diffuse out. Assuming pressure and temperature are constant. No. Basically, I want to give you an easy question after a difficult one so that after the class is finished, your confidence is high. Okay. So basically, pressure and temperature are constant. So if I say PV is equal to nRT, okay. Now if I apply it for the first time, I can say P1 V1 is equal to N1 RT. Now if the moles are diffusing out, I can say P into V2 is equal to N2 into RT. Divide both of them. So I get V1 by V2 is equal to N1 by N2. Yes or no? What is V1? 4 by 3 pi into R cube. What is V2? 4 by 3 into pi into R cube. What is N1? 16. What is N2? 12. Substitute. This will get cancelled out. So if I solve this, I will get R is equal to 10 into how many moles are diffused out? 4. So basically this will become 10 into 3 by 4 to the power of 1 by 3. So this will be 10 upon 1.1. So this value will be 9.09. So R will be 9.09. But the question is, what is the diameter? Diameter is 2R. Now, how many of you wrote the answer as C for Calcutta? So most of the people, even if they get the answer in this case, they will write the answer as C. Just apply PV equal to nRT SG, nothing else. Okay, SG, there is nothing to get confused about. Just apply PV equal to nRT. Okay. They wrote B. You have to solve. Okay. Try solving this question now. A faulty barometer has some trapped air above mercury and shows inaccurate reading. When atmospheric pressure was 770, what is to be done in this case? So basically, what is a faulty barometer? Ideally, what is happening in a barometer is there is a tube. Okay, there is mercury here. This is mercury, and this is also mercury. This is also mercury. Okay. Now, ideally, in this area which is above the mercury, this should be empty. Okay. But now there is some air trapped. So basically, if I say that this is the pressure of gas or pressure of ATM, what I will get is this height h or the reading h should be 0 plus h1. So whatever height h1 I see should be atmospheric pressure, because at this point the pressure is PATM and at this point the pressure is 0 plus h1. But now the thing is, there is some air trapped here. So my question to you is, how will you find the actual pressure when the barometer reads 800 mm of mercury? Can you solve this question for me? JD, refresh. So when the atmospheric pressure genuinely is 770, it shows 750. So can I say 770 is nothing but the pressure P naught of the gas plus 750? So can I say that the P gas which I will get will be 20? Yes or no? When the pressure is 850, okay, so now I know that the pressure is this. Let's say this length is L1. Okay, can you tell me what will happen now? If the gas is trapped here, can I say that for the gas trapped, can I say P1 V1 is equal to P2 V2? Now in the first case, this value is 20. Let's say the complete length is L. In the first case, what will be the volume? L is the total length. The reading is 750. So this height is 750 into area A. What will be the pressure of the gas in the second case? The pressure is 850, it shows 810. So pressure in the second case will be 850 minus 810. What will be the volume? L minus the reading. What is the reading? 810 into area A. This will get cancelled out. So by this I will be able to get that the value of L is 870. Now if I ask you the actual pressure when the barometer shows 800, what will be the actual pressure? So I can say the pressure in the third case when this is 870. What I can say is 870 is the length into pressure P dash of the gas is equal to 20 into 870 minus 750. So I can get P dash gas. Once I get P dash gas, actual pressure will be 800 plus P dash gas. So basically this value will be 800 plus 240 by 7. So you will have your answer as D for Delhi. ये आइडियल गैस इक्वेशन ही तो अप्लाई की है. AK, this is what we have done. P1 V1 is equal to P2 V2 is nothing but PV is equal to nRT. So the idea was, see, the whole idea was, understand this once more. Snehanjali, just look at this gas. Okay, now this gas is what we need to find. Case 1, the pressure is P1 V1 for this gas. Case 2, the pressure is P2 V2 for this gas. And case 3, the pressure is P dash into V3. Simple. So now I am saying this is equal to this is equal to this. Clear? In the first case, the reading is 750. So basically this height is given to you as 750. Reading is basically the height of mercury which you see. So this is 750. If the length of this tube is L, can I say that V1 is L minus 750 into area? Yes or no? Yes or no? And can I say if the pressure in the first case is P1, can I say that P gas, which is P1, I'll just remove this. Can I say this is P1? So P1 plus 750 is the pressure at this point, and that will be equal to PATM. Yes or no? So I can say the pressure P1 is 20. Is this clear? The reading in the second case is 810. So if the total length is L and the reading is 810, can I say V2 is L minus 810? In the second case, can I say, this is the second case, Can you find the pressure in the second case? What will be the pressure in the second case? Let's say it is P2 plus 810 is equal to 850. So can I say P2 is 40? So the pressure of gas in the second case is 40. Yes or no? Now using these two equations, I get the value of L, that is the length of this complete tube, as 870. Now if I ask you to find the third case, in third case, if this total length is 870 and the barometer show the reading as 800, can you tell me what will be volume V3? It will be 870 minus the reading which is being shown. So 870 is the reading being shown. Oh, this will be 870 minus the reading shown, which is 800. So this will be 70. So if this is 70, what will be the value of P dash? The reading is 800. Let's say I find the actual pressure as P. Okay, so I can say it will be P gas minus 70. So I don't even have to use this. I can simply say P gas minus 70. I can get the value of P gas as the final value I will get of P gas will be this will be 240 by 7 plus 800. So this will be giving you answer as D for Delhi. Okay. This is your homework. Okay. Now what is to be done for before the next class? Next class is on this Wednesday. We will do states of matter part 2. Before that, what you need to do is you need to be coming to the class prepared for the class. We have a customary tradition of making a promise to each other. So let's do that tradition. Promise me that you will come prepared for the next class. You will do the DPP of this session. You will do the homework of this session. You will revise all the concepts in this session, and you will come prepared for the next class. So in the next class, we will do liquefaction of gases. We will do real gases. We will do compressible factor. We will do V real equation. All those things you will come prepared. Okay. So, which is my second favorite subject? My first favorite subject is I like maths the most. The second favorite subject is chemistry. Next class is on Wednesday, 3 p.m. I'll see all of you then. Till then, quickly promise. Rajat has made the promise. All of you make the promise quickly so that we can sign off. Snehanjali. Yes, good job. Palash has done the promise. SG promise. Fine. I had a great Saturday with you guys. I'll see you again on Wednesday 3 p.m. Till then, happy learning. Bye.